If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Your support helps us bring you even more incredible real-life stories that leave you thinking long after the video ends. Now let's dive into today's story. The way we see reality is not reality itself. It's a marvelous dance of images, sounds, sensations, and meanings that we weave together moment by moment. Yet we are so deeply hypnotized by our own interpretations that we forget. We are the ones dreaming them. You open your eyes in the morning and there's a world of shapes and colors, of light, dancing on the walls of sound, humming softly through space. You say this is reality, but what you call reality is already filtered through your eyes, your thoughts, your memories. It's not something out there waiting to be picked up like a stone. It's something alive arising through your seeing. The whole mystery begins right there in the act of perception, because the way we see reality is the way we live it. The three cannot be separated. Stop for a moment and notice how quickly your mind jumps to conclusions. You look at a tree and say tree. You hear a bird and say bird, but in the instant before those words appear, there is only color and sound, pure, vivid, nameless. That is reality. Before we divide it up, before the labels, before the judgments, before the idea that I am here and that is there, it's just this, a boundless happening, and yet we can't help but divide it. We see ourselves as the observer, standing apart from what we see. We draw invisible lines, me and you, inside and outside, mind and world, but the truth is, those lines are only in the way we look. They don't exist anywhere but in thought. Imagine the ocean, its waves, rising and falling. Each wave seems separate, but it's all one body of water moving in its own rhythm. Now imagine each wave saying, I am a wave. I am a part. The moment it believes that, it begins to fear the crash, to fear, dissolving back into the sea. That's what we've done. We've identified ourselves as the wave, forgetting we are the ocean, and so our way of seeing creates our world of tension. We feel cut off, alone, struggling against time, against each other, against ourselves. But all this struggle comes from one innocent mistake, believing our mental picture of the world is the world. You see, reality is not a picture. It's not a fixed arrangement of things. It's a process, a happening, a living movement that you are a part of. You don't stand outside of it looking in. You are what you see, but that's difficult for the mind to grasp, because the mind wants to hold on to things, to name them, define them, make them solid. The mind wants certainty, and reality doesn't provide that. Reality moves, it flows. The more you try to hold it, the more it slips away like water through your fingers. Stop. Notice that feeling, the urge to hold on, that tiny contraction in your being, the desire to fix what cannot be fixed. That's where suffering begins, not in the world, but in the way we see it. The world by itself is free. It's not bound by your concepts, it's not limited by your fears, it simply is effortless, spontaneous, perfect. In its impermanence. You see, the way we see reality is a mirror of our own consciousness. If the mind is restless, the world appears chaotic. If the heart is quiet, the world appears luminous, but it's the same world seen through different windows. Think of it like this. When the lake is still, it reflects the moon clearly. When it's stirred by wind, the reflection shatters. The moon hasn't changed. The only difference is the movement of the water. So to your perception, the moon of reality is always shining. It's only the ripples of thought that make it appear broken, and we live among those ripples, taking them for the truth. We walk around inside our stories, our expectations, our memories, and we call that the real world. But what we call real is often just the residue of yesterday's seeing. We don't meet life directly, we meet our thoughts about it, and so we suffer the illusion of separation. But reality, real reality, is always immediate. It doesn't live in memory or imagination. It breathes right now, through the sound of your breath, through the hum of silence, beneath all the noise. If you listen closely, really listen, you'll sense that everything is moving together, the sound of the wind, the pulse of your heart, the rhythm of your thoughts, all part of one great unfolding. And in that there is no observer, There is only observing. The mind may whisper, but if I don't control it, everything will fall apart. And yet notice things are already happening by themselves. The heart beats, the breath flows, the earth turns, the sun rises. None of this requires your control. Life is living itself through you as you. When you realize this not as a theory but as a direct experience, something softens. You begin to see that the way you look at life changes what life becomes. You begin to see that perception is participation. For instance, imagine standing at the edge of a forest. One person looks and sees lumber, profit, resources. Another sees beauty, silence, mystery. Both are seeing the same forest but through different eyes, and each will act accordingly, shaping a different world from the same reality. So the question is not what is reality, but how am I seeing it? Because the way you see determines the way you live. You see, we've been taught to look at life as something to be analyzed, controlled, and categorized. We think of ourselves as separate observers peering into a mechanical universe, but that model, that image is only a tool. It's not the truth. It's useful for building machines, but terrible for finding peace. Reality is not mechanical, it's musical, and in music you don't reach a final note and say, "Now I've got it." You play, you listen, you move with it. Each note makes sense only in relation to the others, and life is like that. It's not a march toward a goal, but a melody unfolding moment by moment. Stop, notice the rhythm of your own thoughts. Can you feel how each thought arises and fades like a note in a song? You don't choose them, they appear. They dance, and yet you, the listener, remain the awareness behind it all. Silent, spacious, watching that awareness is the true seeing. It doesn't judge, it doesn't cling, it simply allows, and in that allowing reality reveals itself not as something to be known, but as something to be lived. There's a certain humor in it, really. We spend our lives trying to understand reality, to pin it down as if it were an object we could wrap in definitions, but the very act of trying to capture it pulls us further away, like chasing your own shadow. The moment you stop chasing, the shadow follows. So perhaps the way to see reality is to stop trying to see it as an object at all, to let it see itself through you, to become transparent like a window through which existence looks at itself, and then something extraordinary happens. The world no longer feels foreign, the colors seem brighter, the air more alive. You begin to sense that you've never been apart from it, that you are reality peering into itself, playing hide and seek through the miracle of perception. That realization is not a conclusion. It's a beginning. And so when we begin to see this, truly see, a strange calm enters. Not the calm of still waters without movement, but the calm of understanding that even the waves are part of the stillness. The recognition that chaos and order are not opposites, but three faces of the same whole. You notice you are no longer pushing life to behave. You are no longer resisting the dance of things, you are simply watching. And yet in that watching, something miraculous happens. The watcher disappears. There is only watching, only the flowing. Now you see. The way we see reality determines whether we feel trapped or free. When we see life as a problem, every moment becomes another task to solve. When we see it as a mystery, every moment becomes a door, and through that door. Before this story spirals even further, make sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications for more. And when the story ends, don't forget to show your support through likes and comments. Steps: Wonder. You begin to sense that everything, even your confusion, your fear, your longing, belongs to the great unfolding, that nothing stands outside of it, that even your mistakes, your stumbles, your sorrows are part of the pattern you see. The universe is not a machine, it's more like a mind dreaming itself into being. Every thought, every heartbeat, every tear is part of its dreaming. Stop. Listen to that. The same intelligence that moves the stars moves your breath. The same rhythm that shapes the tides shapes your thoughts. You are not apart from the cosmic process. You are its expression. When you feel that even for an instant, the heavy seriousness of life softens. You smile not because everything is perfect, but because you sense the perfection of imperfection itself. You realize there's nowhere else to go. You're already here, and here is infinite, you see. We're always trying to escape into the next achievement, the next experience, the next enlightenment. But what if there's nothing to escape? What if reality as it is right now is already complete, not complete in the sense of finished, but whole in its becoming? The rose doesn't rush to bloom, the clouds don't hurry to rain. The universe doesn't apologize for taking its time. Only we in our restless seeing feel the need to fix what isn't broken. Stop. Notice how the mind wants to correct the moment. It whispers if only this, if only that, but reality doesn't whisper anything back, it simply is, and if you can rest in that easiness, even for a breath, the whole world shifts. The trees are no longer trees, they are gestures of existence. The sound of a passing car is no longer noise, it's movement pure and effortless. Even your thoughts are no longer intrusions. They are ripples in awareness, rising and falling in their own time. That's the secret. Reality is not what you think. It's what thinks you. It moves through you like a river through reeds, singing its own tune. And when you stop trying to dam the flow, you hear the music. There's a subtle humor to it that all are striving to see. Clearly often clouds the vision. The harder you stare, the less you see because sight isn't forced, it's received. The eyes don't grasp the light. They open to it. And in the same way the mind doesn't grasp truth, it relaxes into it. Try this right now. Let your attention rest, not on any object, not on any thought, but on the seeing itself. Notice how awareness is simply here. Before anything appears, you're not doing it, it's happening. And in that noticing you are seeing reality as it sees itself, there's nothing mystical about it. It's the most ordinary thing in the world, so ordinary that we overlook it entirely, because we expect reality to be grand to announce itself with thunder. But it whispers, it hums in the background of every moment, patient waiting to be seen through simple eyes, and yet, once seen, everything glows with quiet meaning. The most mundane act, pouring a cup of tea, hearing footsteps in the hall, watching light move across a wall, becomes luminous. Because now you are not looking at life, but as life, you might say. But if everything is one, what about my individuality? Ah, you see, your individuality is not a prison, it's a window. The universe looks through your eyes in a way it looks through. No one else is your voice, your laughter, your particular quirks. These are not mistakes in the cosmic pattern. They are the pattern expressing itself in your form. So individuality is not the opposite of unity. It's the song of unity. Just as each note gives music its texture, each being gives reality its color. When you understand that, you stop comparing yourself to others, you stop needing to measure up, because you see, there's no standard for being. There's only being in all its shapes and shades. Stop, breathe. Let that sink in. Everything you experience, your joy, your doubt, your longing, is the universe discovering itself in you. You are not behind life, watching it unfold, you are its unfolding, and so every act of seeing transforms the scene. Every moment of attention brings something new into being. You are both the witness and the movement of the world. You might ask, but what about pain? What about sorrow? What about loss? Yes, those three. Reality doesn't shy away from its own shadows. Just as the moon needs the night to be seen, the light of awareness reveals itself through contrast. Pain is not an error, it's a signal, a wave reminding you of your depth. Without it, joy would be shallow, meaningless, but look closer. Even pain changes when it's seen clearly. The resistance to pain. The story of that's where the suffering lives. The pain itself in its raw state is simply sensation, energy moving. When you stop fighting it, it flows and it passes. Because everything passes, everything changes. That's the heartbeat of reality itself, the endless arising and falling of form. We often think change is the enemy, that stability is safety, but in truth it's change that gives life its beauty. If nothing changed, nothing would live. It's the transience that makes every moment precious. You see, a sunset moves us precisely because it fades. A note in a melody touches us because it vanishes into silence. In the same way, each moment of your life is sacred because it will never come again. And yet its essence, the awareness of it, is eternal. That's the great paradox. You as form are temporary, you as awareness are timeless, the play of light and shadow, joy and sorrow, gain and loss. All these unfold within that vast stillness that you are. When you truly see this, you no longer cling to permanence nor fear impermanence. You flow with the river because you know you are the river. And so the way we see reality becomes the way we be reality, seeing and being. Merge. Observer and observed dissolve into one living dance. You might laugh softly as Alan Watts once did and realize there was never any great mystery to solve. Only a misunderstanding to dissolve. You were never apart from life. You were just looking at it through the wrong end of the telescope. Turn it around, look again. See how the light plays on everything. Notice how even your doubts shimmer when seen clearly. Reality has never hidden from you. It's been here all along, hiding as you stop. Listen. Breathe. The way you see is what you see, and the moment you stop trying to grasp reality, it flows through you effortlessly as love, as laughter, as the simple grace of being here now. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, and leave a comment. If you enjoyed this story, this will help us create even more exciting stories just for